Well, cities are, of course, as we've seen throughout the day, attracting new people, young people, immigrants. But the reality is also that we live in a graying society. And to have a truly livable metropolis, it's vital to connect to that part of our citizenry. One of the men who has found out how to do it, how to do something about it, is David Lemon. He's the founder of the Health Arts Society, and I welcome him to the podium now. David.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It's really great to have this opportunity. Thank you so much for giving me the chance to talk about our project for graying people. The thing that we've been hearing about today is how to make great cities great. And we know from the past that the great cities of the world have been those cities that have had a rich culture. And this is second nature to us. I was here last night, the Roy Thomson Hall. What a great facility. Terrific concert, the Toronto Symphony Orchestra, a lovely program of Russian music. Quite a lot of people there. And there are just so many of these wonderful spaces around Canada for us to enjoy. And millions of people go to the Roy Thomson Halls and to the wonderful new center, the Four Seasons Center that Jack Diamond has built. And now, of course, he's built the amazing Mariinsky in St. Petersburg. And here we have another of Toronto's great artistic assets. These places are what makes a city vibrant and exciting, a city of opera, symphony concerts, Broadway shows, jazz, small-scale, large-scale programs in parks. You have this amazing Luminato festival. And a city without arts is inconceivable because a population without music, without arts, is inconceivable. It's something we take completely for granted. And it's what makes cities alluring, why we want to build the transportation systems to get into the cities. It's not just to work, but it's to enjoy our arts and our leisure. And one of the things you would think that cities that spend millions of dollars on the arts for audiences, from children to people my age and older, would be to make sure that people too frail and ill to get to venues would get their share of arts. But you'd be wrong. Health Arts Society is a music presenter, but it's also, in a sense, the beginning of a movement because it's a new and unique project, well, fairly new. We began it in 2006, and it's the only organization so far dedicated to bringing professional music making to people in long-term care. Concerts in Care is a 45-minute small-scale live professional music performances presented by the 7 health arts societies of Canada, including Quebec's Société pour les Arts au Milieu de Santé. This is the first program of its kind. These people that we're serving have reached the end of their lives and they have absolutely nothing really to enjoy but local amateur work, which has its place, but nonetheless is not what we expect when we go to concerts and opera and any kind of other music we enjoy. We also are providing new opportunities for professional musicians. Our performers, including some of Canada's finest artists, have, since 2006, performed over 7,500 concerts for an audience of over 300,000. In BC alone, $1.7 million have been paid to musicians out of a total expense of about $2,300,000. And in the rest of Canada, which is our largest projects are in BC and Quebec. We are seeing now in the region of 1,800 concerts a year. The project is an extraordinary opportunity for musicians across the country. Concerts in Care is a conduit between an underserved audience and musicians who want to perform for them. And these slides seem to be moving of their own volition. So that's thrown me a bit, because they're supposed to go a little more slowly than that. Let me tell you what that is. That is a Hospice de Beaune. The Hospice de Beaune was built as a hospital in the 15th century. Can we pause these so I can move them ahead? It's still used as a hospital. And it was built very specifically to be a place that was beautiful. And it's quite remarkable that, people are still using it as a hospital. In the turn of the wheel of culture, we're seeing more small groups of performers connecting to appreciative audiences to whom the repertoire and its performance are highly valued. Even in public, we're seeing smaller projects rather than large ones. And the work of Concerts in Care is based on this time-honored model, intimate and engaging. The hallmark of Concerts in Care is close engagement between musicians and their audience, one that we should be treating with consideration and compassion. Residents regularly tell us that they feel deeply respected by the performers' visits as well as by the intensity of the musical experience. We affirm the right of people in care to be treated as an audience as important as any other to which the arts are addressed. Concerts in Care works against the grain of attitudes that assigns performance for elders well below its proper place in the hierarchy of arts programming and funding. All arts require subsidy, and that's because we consider that all, whether it's symphonies or operas or chamber music, that work has not only intrinsic aesthetic value, but social value too. And our cases frequently espouse art as fundamental to humanity. It's unconscionable to exclude our friends and families in care from our mandate. And how often do we find a new audience for music? There are hundreds of thousands of people in Canada who never hear from us. How often do we find a way of providing opportunities for musicians without substantial overhead? Health Art Societies have developed extremely efficient techniques for delivering concerts, usually in a series of 5 or 10 or more in a year. The results are so satisfying. Our program is driven by reactions like this from a resident. I was just entranced by such a display of musicality, the performers' obvious love of music, and their pleasure in sharing their joy in ensemble playing. I have spent many hours reliving this experience and will never forget it. A carer said, one of our residents with Parkinson's disease told us that for the entire performance he did not shake or experience any tremors, which for him is a huge comfort. From another carer, it's as if I've been drinking Kool-Aid my whole life and someone just gave me a nice glass of wine. A carer said a seriously depressed client who, after refusing to leave her room for days, heard that Robert Silverman was coming to play and asked to be dressed, have her hair fixed and lipstick put on, and be taken to the concert. She then talked about the concert for days after. The benefits to performers of Concerts in Care are that it is new work for a reasonable stipend for performers and an opportunity to establish a warm and close relationship with the audience. Here is what 2 of them have to say about performing Concerts in Care. Tara Semple in Regina said, "The seniors we have met have touched our hearts and they are a great joy to play for. It's also a great joy for families who come out to be with their loved ones who are not able to communicate very well anymore. It gives them something to talk about and to enjoy together." Janelle Nadeau said, "I have truly enjoyed every moment of this. I realize that this is my favorite form of work and I'm even more thrilled to be part of this concert series than before. The change and effect that the performances have on the residents and even the workers is palpable." The growth of Concerts in Care across Canada is driven by the audience's pleasure, by the quality of the performers' work, and by the financial contributions made by the homes and our society's funders. We have so many generous financial partners, including BMO Financial Group. Last year, we ran out of 507 concert BMO National concerts in Spring Festival, reaching 20,000 people. We're very grateful to the people and organizations who fuel our work, financial institutions, individual donors, government agencies, municipalities, residents in care and their homes, health authorities and community foundations. But the fundraising piece, of course, is our second largest body of work, other than producing the concerts. Most of our performers are freelance, although many musicians are contracted to our associate organizations, including the Canadian Opera Company, Toronto Symphony Orchestra, Vancouver Symphony Orchestra, Vancouver Opera, the Orchestre Metropolitain in Montreal, National Arts Centre Orchestra, and others. The importance of bringing fine music to our families and friends in care is going to be more and more widely recognized. Concerts in Care is a project working with partners and collaborators to share the beauty of musical art with an audience that loves it. I said at the outset that Health Arts Society is as much a movement as it is a music presenter. Our objective is not to own all the professional performance work undertaken for people in care, but to ensure that in time it's considered completely natural for this audience to be treated with the same respect as any other. I frequently hear from potential contributors to our work that their capacity is fully utilized, providing music to young people, or they're already sponsors of or donors to the opera or the symphony. And clearly there are very important reasons for all this kind of support, and we don't want to see any of it reduced. But we do think it's inconsistent to give so much attention to younger generations and completely ignore those people who have already contributed so much by founding our families and building our cities as the places that we now celebrate. The key to our message is simply that music is a natural and ancient function of being human, whether people participate as performers or as audience. Music is one of the great gifts of life, so ubiquitous we think nothing of expecting movies to be filled with music. We plug ourselves in constantly to a soundtrack of our lives on our iPods, and we listen to it in our cities, concert halls, parks, and the many small venues where people to meet to share music. Concerts in Care is working to add the many hundreds of living rooms across Canada in places where our families are spending their last years. In the future, we envision this work will be an unquestioned part of the life of the truly civilized city. Thank you. Do you have any questions? Yes.
So, I guess as we talk about seniors and aging in place, and this is a country of immigrants, we will definitely see, seniors with a very different cultural background.
Yes.
And I'm interested in how you think about that work going forward in encouraging, say, non-European classical music to be involved in this city building, which is really a piece to me about social inclusion. How do we keep people included in our cities in their later years through arts, for example?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And even now, we have groups that that can respond to the many diverse communities that we have in our homes already. These are all long-term care homes that we produce music for. And so, particularly in Vancouver, where the project started, there are already homes where we have people of Asian descent or people who come from Asia and from other parts of the world. And we have programs that are designed specifically by artists who are from the same ethnic regions to provide them with music. It's absolutely vital, and that will continue. That will grow and change, and the program will evolve to ensure that that kind of consistency is maintained. Okay.
Not a question, but a comment.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations. I think it's fantastic. I mean, groups like that, you're making the world a better place, so well done.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
That was my line, but thank you very much. Absolutely. It's a great way to actually end the day as well. Bless you for the work you do. That's great.